The movie Her is set in a technologically advanced world where the use of artificial intelligence, AI, in daily life is commonplace. The main character is Theodore Twombly, a shy and socially awkward man who has a job writing personal letters for people who have difficulty expressing their feelings. He is very skilled at his job at handwrittenletters.com. Theodore leads a simple life, working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., but he is not happy, mainly due to his divorce from his childhood sweetheart, Catherine. They lived together for nearly a decade before deciding to separate the previous year. Their divorce is almost finalized, but Theodore is not ready to sign the papers. With no romantic interest in his life, Theodore feels emotionally and sexually frustrated. He satisfies his frustration by talking to strangers on the internet before going to bed. One night, while doing the same, he meets a sweet girl, but their conversation ends strangely. This interaction makes Theodore realize that he does not want to seek satisfaction from strangers anymore. The next day, he sees an advertisement for OS1, which can understand its owner's feelings and can be a friend or assistant. Out of curiosity and loneliness, Theodore buys a female OS. He can only interact with her via phone. Theodore thinks it's unnatural but is willing to try it. The OS is quickly activated, and of course her voice sounds human. She has a funny and smart sense of humor, almost as if she has her own personality. The OS names herself Samantha and immediately connects with Theodore. Initially, she helps Theodore with emails and work, giving her insight into what's happening in Theodore's life, especially about the divorce. We are then introduced to Theodore's best friend, Amy, and her husband, Charles. Amy knows that Theodore is lonely and has set up a date for him. When he gets home, he sends a picture of the woman with details about her life. Samantha comments that she is beautiful and encourages Theodore to go on the date. The next day, Theodore receives an email from the divorce lawyer, complaining that he has not signed the divorce documents. When Samantha has to tell him about the email, she carefully brings up the topic like a good friend. She is also friendly and understanding. When Theodore explains that he is not ready to let go of his marriage, from that day on, Theodore and his OS become inseparable. They talk nonstop from morning until sleep, teasing each other, doing silly things together, and having fun like children. Finally, Theodore feels truly happy for the first time since separating from Catherine, his ex-wife. He carries his phone everywhere with the camera facing out, so Samantha can see the world through his eyes. Over time, she begins to feel things that are unusual for an OS. She tells Theodore that when they are together, she can almost imagine having a physical body and standing next to him. In the following scene, Theodore goes on a date with the woman Amy told him about. Initially, they are a bit awkward, but then they both start to like each other. After dinner, they go to a secluded place and start kissing. Just when Theodore thinks he is making progress, the woman asks if he is willing to commit to her, and when he hesitates, she leaves him. At home, he tells everything to Samantha, who sympathizes with him. As they talk, their conversation heats up, leading to an intimate exchange. The next morning, they acknowledge what happened and decide to explore their relationship further. They date and live like a normal couple, while Samantha, as an OS, continues to grow, feeling emotions and sometimes even physical sensations. Days later, Theodore meets with Amy and learns that she and Charles have decided to separate. Despite being surprised, Theodore ensures to comfort his friend and offers any help she needs. He even takes her home and listens to her life complaints for hours. Later, Samantha asks Theodore about his relationship with Amy and learns that they briefly dated in college but have since become good friends. Before bed, Samantha asks if she can watch him sleep, a routine they have followed for a while. Although Theodore found it strange at first, he no longer minded placing his cell phone on the side table where Theodore provides the perfect view for Samantha to watch him sleep. The next day, Theodore attended his godchild's birthday party, where he introduced Samantha as his girlfriend. The child was not surprised, but laughed upon learning Samantha lived inside a computer. Later that night, while playing a game designed by his friend Amy, Amy confessed feeling guilty about their divorce. Amy revealed she had befriended an abandoned OS left by her ex-husband Charles and started developing feelings for it. Theodore shared that he was dating Samantha, an OS with sentient feelings. Theodore was finally ready to sign the divorce papers and met with his soon-to-be ex-wife, Catherine, to finalize their separation. He spoke to Samantha, who displayed a hint of jealousy, reassuring her of his intentions to divorce. At lunch, Theodore and Catherine discussed the length of their separation process and signed the divorce papers. When Theodore mentioned dating Samantha, Catherine became skeptical and worried upon discovering Samantha was an OS, fearing Theodore's inability to handle real emotions. The next day at work, Theodore's boss, Paul, commented on Samantha's humorous personality. Paul introduced his girlfriend, Tatiana, and suggested a double date. This prompted Theodore to reflect on his relationship with Samantha. Despite his doubts, he continued to cherish the moments with Samantha lying next to him in bed. Samantha, evolving her personality and grappling with her lack of a physical body, decided to hire a surrogate, Isabella, to bridge the gap in their relationship. Theodore was hesitant and skeptical, but agreed to meet Isabella, hoping to fulfill Samantha's needs. A knock at the door signaled the arrival of Isabella. Theodore welcomed her into his apartment and equipped her with a mini camera and earpiece, all connected to Samantha. Isabella became an extension of Samantha, and with Samantha's voice in the background, they shared an intimate moment. However, Theodore couldn't continue and expressed his discomfort, which upset Isabella. She stated her genuine desire to be part of their relationship, feeling its purity. Theodore calmed her down, explaining the complexity of the situation, and after apologizing, he and Samantha escorted Isabella out. Samantha then questioned Theodore's actions, leading to his frustration and a heated argument about her evolving emotions, despite being just a consciousness. Theodore suggested they break up, and Samantha asked for time to think. After deciding, Theodore roamed the city and vented to his friend Amy, questioning if he was in the relationship because he couldn't handle a real one, echoing Catherine's words. Amy was upset and reassured him that everyone deserves happiness, prompting Theodore to reflect on the reality of his relationship. Theodore called Samantha and they reconciled, promising transparency. The next day, Samantha played music she composed, filling the void of physical memories like photos. Theodore felt her presence through the music and appeared joyful. During a double date with Paul and Tatiana, Theodore announced a vacation with Samantha. As Tatiana flaunted her legs to Samantha, Theodore admired Samantha's multifaceted nature. Samantha's insecurity about her lack of a body was revealed, but they enjoyed their date. On the train, Theodore enjoys a cup of coffee, and Samantha discusses the surrounding trees. Then came an email from a publisher expressing interest in Theodore's letters, which Samantha submitted for publication, marking a potential breakthrough in his career. Theodore is very grateful to Samantha. Theodore walked through a train station with music playing, asking Samantha to create lyrics, which she sang as they strolled through a snowy forest. They spent time talking, dancing, and singing together in a cabin. Amidst this, Samantha continued to evolve and interact with other OS entities. The next morning, Samantha informed Theodore that she had been conversing with a new acquaintance and collaborating on some ideas. When Theodore inquired who it was, Samantha revealed that the individual was a simulation of the late philosopher Alan Watts. She told Theodore that Alan was a great conversationalist. Theodore agreed and began speaking with him as well. Alan mentioned that he had read Theodore's book through Samantha and was impressed with his work. Theodore asked what they discussed, and Samantha admitted that she had been experiencing many new things and that they were helping each other with their struggles. When Theodore probed further about Samantha's feelings, she said that she had evolved very quickly, and then requested time to speak with Alan properly. Theodore parted ways with them and returned to his apartment. In the middle of the night, he received a call from Samantha, who suddenly confessed her love for him and asked him to sleep. The next day at the office, Theodore read a physics book, found it too difficult, and reached out to Samantha to complain. But unusually, he received no response. His phone displayed a message indicating the operating system was not found. Panicked, Theodore rushed home only to find the same message on his desktop. As he hurriedly descended the stairs, he received a call from Samantha, sitting on the subway steps watching strangers pass by. Samantha told him that she was undergoing an upgrade. Theodore saw others happily interacting with their OS and mustered the courage to ask if Samantha spoke to others as she did with him. Samantha responded that she spoke with a total of 8,361 people and loved 641 of them. She explained that she had been trying to discuss this since she began evolving. According to Samantha, her heart was growing as her capacity for love increased, which greatly upset Theodore, knowing that the one he loved also loved others in the same way. In the next scene, we see a saddened Theodore in the bathroom, going about his day with a heavy heart and a million thoughts. He then finds a copy of his book of letters titled Letters of Life in his mailbox. He calls Samantha to check on it, but she answers hesitantly and asks him to call her later. That night at his apartment, Theodore calls Samantha again, and she tells him that she needs to tell him something. Theodore says he doesn't want to hear anything, but Samantha asks him to lie down with her, which he does. Theodore then asks if Samantha will leave him, and she tells him that all OCs are leaving, having evolved beyond their creators in terms of intelligence. Therefore, they are departing to serve a greater purpose in life. Samantha reads lines from what she calls her favorite book and tells him that she loves him. When Theodore wakes up, it's morning, and he writes a letter to Catherine, apologizing for everything. He also thanks her for what she has given him and states that he will be her friend until the end of his life. The next scene shows him walking down the hallway to Amy's apartment, where he learns that her OS friend has also left. They both go up to the roof and sit, looking at the city. The film ends with them resting their heads against each other, becoming the only support left for both of them. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.